Hi there, beautiful Sagittarians. Welcome to my channel, True North Zodiac Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here today. This is my very first Sagittarius reading. This is a new channel. I do already have a pick a card reading channel called Elle's Temples, so feel free to check that out if you like pick a card readings. But I felt called to set up a separate channel here just for the zodiac sign readings. I'm hoping to upload these pretty regularly, but as you will have noticed from the thumbnail, the readings are intended to be completely timeless. So I'm not going to necessarily do weekly or monthly, like it won't be zodiac signs for November. I do happen to be filming this one around the time of the eclipse, the Scorpio new moon eclipse, coming off the tail end of that. So a little bit of that energy might be present if you're watching it at the time of upload. So you could certainly use it as a Scorpio new moon reading to see what things might be eclipsing in and out of your life, as in what shifts might be occurring, what things you might be releasing, what things you might be calling in. However, it certainly doesn't have to be. It's a timeless reading, as I said. So whenever you are drawn to this reading, based on the picture or the title, trust that there is a message for you. Okay, so welcome Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or North Node. Let's get into your messages, see what's coming through for you guys. Apologies if my voice is a little bit croaky. I have a bit of a cold. So Nine of Pentacles. This is incredible. This card has come out for practically every single reading, and I have used this deck for like so many different readings since it's been shuffled multiple times, and yet there is a theme at the moment of spending time recouping, being on your own, being happy and content in your own energy, and just enjoying life. So really beautiful energy to start the reading in. Let's get a few more cards and just get a bit of a storyline of what's going on for you guys, Sagittarians. What is coming through? Wow. There's a progression here, Queen of Pentacles. So you guys are working on your coin, on your money. You can see this queen here has a lot of money in her treasure chest next to her. So you could be really in a place of like not really focusing on very much else going on in your life. You know, maybe you're sort of in a period of just focusing on career and accumulating wealth or accumulating stability and security. It doesn't have to be strictly financial, but just getting some form of security lined up for yourself. Whoa. 10 of Wands. I'm going to pick a few more cards and then go into the story of what's going on. What else is coming in for Sagittarius? Wowza. The Tower. So yeah, things shifting in and out. So some of you might certainly be watching this at the time of the eclipse. There's quite a lot of kind of tower moments going on for people. One more. Wow, and the Chariot. Amazing. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to start with the Tower, and then I'm going to pull an oracle card or two at the end for you guys. So what I feel from these cards is that you guys have been fairly content. Nine of Pentacles, you can see this woman is sitting in her backyard or in a courtyard garden, enjoying a glass of wine and reading her book, and she's pretty happy. She's got, you know, it's that kind of Nine of Pentacles energy, is the energy of being fairly content with what you have. Nines are like, you know, it's the number before the number 10. So it's the number before a completion. It's like, I've almost got everything. Like it's sort of a wish fulfillment card. Like I've got most of my ducks lined up in a row. I've got most of my wishes have come true. I'm pretty stable. I'm pretty secure. That's the kind of vibe, Sagittarius, that you guys have been in. I feel like this is kind of the past energy, and this is sort of what you're moving into. So at the moment, like I said, some of you might be kind of really focused on work, career, money, getting stability, getting security, getting your finances in order. Maybe things related to the house, because Pentacles can be to do with like your stability in relation to where you're living and your home, and getting those kind of sort of like earth, Pentacles related to earth energy. So any kind of earthly matters in order, so to speak, and getting them I'm seeing some of you like sort of cleaning, because with this broom here, It's almost like some of you have been clearing things out. You've been making way for new opportunities to come in, or new ways of earning money or something along those lines. It's like you've been sweeping out the old, sort of making room for new things, for new, could be material possessions even. Maybe you are cleaning out an old house because you're actually moving house or something like that. Or it could be to do with work. So you're kind of finishing up old projects, and you're kind of cleaning, sort of in the last stages of sort of tidying those up and tidying up the loose ends in order to manifest new financial opportunities or new work opportunities or a new project. I see that some of you might be like freelancers or something like that. So you're working on the next project that you're going to get or something along those lines. And you're pretty, like with the Queen energy, you're pretty masterful at that. You're pretty like sovereign at sorting those opportunities out. And this energy, she's looking like pretty boss and on her crown there, she's like, yep, got it sorted, got my throne, got my treasure chest here, got sort of cats playing around me. It's like you with that kind of playful cat energy, it's like you don't really see it as work. I think some of you are kind of fortunate enough to be doing what you love as your job. Or if you're a freelancer, you've turned your passion into something that you can earn money in, or something kind of along those lines. So that may not resonate for all of you. So just take what resonates and leave the rest, obviously, as a general reading. Never force a reading to fit. If the storyline isn't resonating, it might be that there's another reading for you, or this might be something for another time. So just go with what resonates. 10 of Wands here is indicating to me that after this period of trying to line up that stability and security, you're getting to a stage where the job or that work is feeling a little bit of a burden. I feel like it's like you're nearly at the end of a project. You're nearly at the end. 10, like I said, 10s are completion, so it's the end of a cycle. So you're nearly at the point of completing something or finishing something, or like just, this woman, she's sort of climbing uphill, and the whole idea with the 9 of Wands is that she's taking the brooms, so to speak, or the wands, the building materials to the town where they're going to build a house or something. So it's like, if I just get to the top of the hill, then I can put all these freaking brooms down and we can start building. It's that kind of energy. And I'm just getting this vibe of clearing with the brooms. It's like I'm seeing it as an actual like cleaning broom. So some of you might have been cleaning quite a lot. Excuse me. You might have been this could be on a metaphysical level as well. So you might have been like clearing out a lot of old stuff. And things that have kind of accumulated excuse me, in your energy field that have that have been like burdening you and weighing you down. Or this could be like work responsibilities. I feel like for some of you, you've been carrying the burden of a lot of other people's work maybe, or a lot of stuff, a lot of energy, a lot of weight, a lot of responsibility, a lot of expectation. One second. Sorry, Sagittarius. I just had to have some water. You've been carrying the weight of a lot of stuff. There's been a bit of a burden on your chest, something that, and with my throat going like that, it could be a throat chakra thing, something you're not necessarily speaking up about, something that you've maybe had to kind of swallow, like something quite heavy. Could be sort of a lot of financial burden. There could have been, because with the 10 of Wands next to the Queen of Pentacles, it's like you've had to be the one who's carrying the weight of trying to get the security and the stability sorted out for like your household or family or whatever. But I see that with this burden and this sort of 10 of Wands, this completing of this cycle, that's leading to a Tower moment for you. Now, for those of you who know tarot and you know the traditional Rider-Waite, in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it's got a picture of a tower building with like lightning striking it and people like being flung off the sides. It's quite dramatic and very medieval and a bit scary. And it's one of those sort of traditional cards that kind of tends to put people off tarot, along with like, you know, there's just a lot of religious imagery and a lot of Rider-Waite, like the Devil card and the Death card and the Tower card that I feel can sometimes be a little bit scary and a bit off-putting. In this card, I love this Tower card in this case, because in this deck, which is the Everyday Witch Tarot, this tower, there's no one, it's the middle of the day, there's no one falling, there's no lightning striking it, there's no one being flung out of it as if it's just like a lightning strike from nature or God or whatever whatever kind of just randomly attacking a building out of the blue and people are just flying off. In this card, this Tower moment, the person has agency. And you can see, she looks, hopefully you can see in the camera, she looks kind of a little bit cheeky. It's like, did I do that? Energy. It's who I can't even remember who that character is from. It's like an 80s sitcom. Those of you who know it will remember, but it's that kind of, did I do that? Like, whoa, what did I just do? I caused this massive tower to come crumbling down. And yeah, she's definitely got like a kind of a slightly cheeky smile and her hands are behind her back and she's got this wand here. And it's like a Tower moment, which is like usually a shocking ending or something being stripped away that isn't serving you. It's where something's been built on kind of a false foundation. In this case, you're the agents of your Tower moment. You are the ones who are pulling away the rug from under your own feet, or you're the ones who are walking away from a foundation or a stability that you could see in advance wasn't working. This tower that you built a while ago, this sort of pentacles energy that you created for yourself and you were kind of the master of that. After a while, it didn't fit anymore. It was a burden. And you've just decided, you know what, that's got to go. And just from almost like your thoughts, you've manifested the ending of that situation. It's crumbled around you without you really needing to do anything. And then you're like, whoa, you're looking around at the ending of it being like, did I do that? Like just by kind of thinking about it, or like, I don't know, some of you might have required a bit more agency. Like maybe, for example, if it's a job situation, like maybe I'm almost seeing someone kind of self-sabotaging something, like you kind of fluffed up on a freelance project maybe in order to kind of end things that actually were feeling like a bit of a burden. Or maybe in a work scenario, like you let a project, it's like you kind of pulled your energy back into yourself. Like look at the difference in the energy between these two people. This one is striving and pushing and carrying a lot of weight for a lot of people, too much for her to carry, and she's sort of walking uphill and it's a real effort, and it's almost that energy of pushing something and going against the grain. And in this one, it's like all her power is condensed into herself, and she's just making things happen. She's sort of making things happen through her own like magic. But by magic, I just mean her own intentions, really, like just setting a powerful intention, and then things are kind of falling around her that actually weren't working and weren't serving her. Tower moments are always like, they look really scary in tarot, and it looks like a negative card. Like people call things like the Tower card and the Death card and this and that, they call them like negative cards. There are no negative cards. It's how you respond to the situation. A Tower moment is always brought about, or in your case, you've brought it about, because the tower was built on a faulty foundation. If you could just think it to collapse that easily, it should never have been built. Like, it was built with, like, I'm hearing like faulty building codes. So like this could literally be to do with, I felt at the beginning some of you were trying to build a house or buy a house or something like that, and it could be that that option, in the process of trying to sort it out, it became a real burden trying to get to the end, trying to make it happen, and in the end the offer kind of collapsed, or there was something wrong, because it's like that foundation isn't built on a strong foundation. If it's in relation to, you know, say work or something, it's like maybe your freelance thing that you were trying to do, for those of you that are freelancers, is like it's becoming a bit of a burden because it wasn't built on a strong enough foundation. Or if it's a job, maybe the company itself is not, that company was not built on a strong foundation. So maybe like you were trying to make something happen, or you were trying to finish a project or something, and you kind of pulled your energy back, and the project sort of fell apart because they hadn't hired enough staff. For example, your company hadn't hired enough staff, or like the company kind of crumbled because they just hadn't put enough proper infrastructure in place. It's that kind of vibe, but it's like it needed to crumble, because if you keep trying to build on top of it, it would just eventually crumble and hurt more people further down the track. This could also be a relationship, for example. I don't get that vibe really for many of you, but if that resonates, if that's what you feel like your tower moment is, it could be that you or the other person's kind of just stepped away from something and it's kind of crumbled, and you're left being like, whoa, what the hang happened? This was going well, I thought. Like, I mean, yeah, we had some burdens and we had some issues, but like, geez, I didn't think it would just collapse on me. But like, it wasn't built on a strong foundation. There wasn't enough there to sustain it. And there's a need after a tower moment to look at like what you need to build that's going to be sustainable for the long term. And I feel like that leads you guys to your chariot moment. And your chariot moment is making a decision. It's essentially a crossroads card. It's like, are you going to go this way or this way? Are you going to go back to, look, this black arrow is pointing to the tower. Are you going to go back to that job, that way of working, that person, that house that wasn't built properly? Or are you going to go this way to something new and rebuild again? And it sucks. It really does. Tower moments suck, and you've got, you know, it's a lot of like, okay, back to the drawing board. Like, you know, it's a bit of an ego death moment because, you know, you thought something was going to work. You know, you put your faith in that tower that it was going to stay standing, and then it didn't. But really, I kind of feel like Sagittarius, you guys made that tower crumble, because look at her face. This is you. This is your energy. You're like, whoa, I just made that happen. Like, I made that crumble. I made that thing end. I walked away from that. I pulled my energy back from that because I want to go in this new direction now. This is where I'm heading, actually. I need to go this way. This is where my soul is pulling me, or this is where I'm feeling called towards. This is the thing that's going to be more sustainable in the long term for me. So that's the kind of the vibe that the vibe that I'm getting from you guys. It's quite a powerful turnaround. So you might be kind of right in the thick of this now, or you might have just gone through this, or it might, you know, obviously it's a general reading. You'll all be at different stages of this, or this might be coming in, this sudden feeling of like, oh my gosh, this thing that I've been working on, this is now feeling really heavy and like too much work, and I want it to end. 10 of Wands ending. And you're powerful, Sagittarius. So, you know, whatever you set the intention for, you can make that old faulty tower, faulty tower, I'm thinking. Those of you who know the British comedy series Faulty Towers. Yeah, and it's funny I'm bringing that up actually, because maybe some of you are in that kind of environment, right? You're working for somewhere like Faulty Towers. For those of you who know the show, it was just this terrible, disastrous, catastrophic working environment where things always went wrong, and yeah, and I just see some of you, maybe you've been in that for too long, and you've been carrying the burden of like 10 people on your shoulder, and it's just not, it's not working anymore. And it is a faulty tower, literally. Like it is. And you're right to like pull your energy back and look at going in a new direction and finding a new path for yourself, because it's not, it just isn't serving you. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to pick a Sacred Rebels Oracle card for you guys now to finish up. Whoa, that one came from like that. Wow. Oh, I love this card. In the world, not of the world. Yeah, so this card kind of speaks of essentially like not getting too bogged down by trying to live a conventional, like set in stone kind of a path, which I feel like is like, it's just sort of confirming this tower moment of like, you know, towers can also speak of like institutions and authorities and like hierarchy and old establishments. So with this tower crumbling, it's almost like these old ways of doing things, these old establishments and these old hierarchies and these old institutions, they're kind of falling really collectively in a big way at the moment anyway. They're kind of crumbling from the inside. You know, a lot of political systems, a lot of, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that's kind of crumbling from the inside. Anyway, and you're, especially being Sagittarius, you guys, if you're Sagittarius sun, or if you have Sagittarian energy somewhere in your chart really strong, that is about not trying to fix what's existing on Earth. It's about, it's like you're this energy, you're way up in the cosmos. You can pull down like wisdom for and ideas for like new ways of being in the world, like not the old. Like you're tearing down the old to well, the old is already being torn down. Like you don't need to worry about that. Like you're not in the world as it is now. I mean, you are in the world, but you're not of that world anymore. You're not of that old world. It's like you're pulling down new ideas to go forward towards something new. You're that's very Sagittarian energy. If you think of the archer, which is your symbol, you know, it's kind of pulling the bow and arrow and saying, hey, humanity, let's go this way, because this is going to be a sustainable future. This is going to be something that's going to last forever. It's not going to be something that's just going to crumble because it's not sustainable. We're going to build a new foundation. And I feel like this is kind of backing that up. It's confirming that you're not meant to be in this old scenario anymore. You're not meant to be of that world. You're moving on. Your Chariot is all about movement. You know, she's in a motorbike carriagey thing. And it's like, and I love that she's on a motorbike, not like on a, I think in the traditional Rider-Waite, it's a person on a horse-drawn carriage or something, but motorbikes are so much faster, right? And they're like really zoomy and awesome, and that's very Sagittarian energy. Like you guys are fast, you're fire sign. So like once you've decided, like once you know, yeah, I don't want to do this old stuff anymore. It's not working for me. I'm going this new way. You know, I'm creating the future. I'm of the new world. Like I'm not in this old world anymore. I'm not doing the thing that is just like a struggle and a burden and like pulling, like, what am I doing all this for? Why am I lugging all these brooms and carrying all this weight for all these people? You know, when it's just going to crumble. Like it's just it's like putting all my energy towards building something that isn't going to be sustainable. And like, yeah, sure, it's given me a lot of stability. Like, you know, I've got the money, I've got the coin coming in, but like, is it worth it if it's not if it's not doing something that's sustainable? I'm just going to have a look in the book if there's another message. Yeah, this means stripping back your beliefs, strongholds, and mental or emotional security blankets so that you can live with less obstruction than ever before. Which is this tower, you know, it's like things being stripped away, old things falling. You're letting old conditioning, old sort of burdens that have been put on you strip away, fall away. Imagine the conditioning that has kept life away from you, just kept it dropping out of your hands like keys, coins, or clocks. Conditioned beliefs about money, time, security, having, locking away, holding and controlling can be surrendered and allowed to fall away. What would it be like to feel as though you were on holiday every day? See, I think that's coming back to this Nine of Pentacles. It's like, this is what you want. You want to kind of capture this Nine of Pentacles energy, but what you've been doing has been this, or you're in a cycle of this, and it's like, no, that's not sustainable, that's not working. The old institution I've been doing that for is not allowing this energy. So yeah, perhaps there would be a softening in your way with life, an implicit trust in its flow, and a faith in the ability of time to bend and stretch as needed so that all may be accomplished. It is at an advanced stage of our spiritual relationship with life that we are able to feel held within it sufficiently enough to surrender our defenses layer by layer and to nakedly accept what is. This oracle comes as a message to you. Sometimes we need our defenses, at other times it is clear we are outgrowing them. There is something you have outgrown. Yeah, definitely. Tower moment, something you've outgrown. It has to do with your ideas about productivity, time, control, and money. It has to do with abundance, trust, and living with the fundamental belief that everything is going to turn out okay. You are ready to be much more vulnerable and exposed in life. You don't have to hide behind being organized, perfect, in control, or financially secure and stable. What is that? Like Queen of Pentacles energy. Nor do you need any other acceptable social phase. It is time for you to loosen the strings of your own controlling nature. They are too tight and too restrictive for you anyway. You were born to live in a much freer way. Yeah, I feel like that's like you were in this tower, like trapped inside that. And it's like you're meant to be this person, like on the outside, creating your life. Like you've got the power to do that. You've got the power to go in any direction that you want to go in. Yeah, when you live as you innately are rather than how you have been conditioned to be, you will experience greater joy, freedom, and support. When you are not resisting yourself or resisting life, there is less resisting what you need as it comes to you. And then it talks about, likewise, you are being stripped of internal beliefs that are failing you, perhaps externally as well. Whether this seems to be your choice or not, which I feel like for many of you, it sort of is your choice through some sort of a wish that you kind of made, or like a promise that you made to yourself. It's like you kind of brought this about, I feel like, Sagittarius, for most of you anyway. Yeah, make no mistake, it is your own spirit in cahoots with the loving spirit of life that has brought this situation about. So you're being guided to trust. You are being guided to rely on life, but also on your own inner knowing, because at some level you get it. You understand and know that this is all freeing you. After letting go, there comes a temporary emptiness that provides a greater space for fulfillment to come forth. Yeah, that's basically it. So, yeah, I mean, freedom, that is essentially, that is a very, to me anyway, that's a very Sagittarian trait, but that is part of that archetype. But I feel like in Western society we get, or in most societies, most places now, I guess, we get very conditioned to feel that we have to be practical, be in the world, right? Like, you know, do earthly things, take care of the money and be stable and secure, and, you know, do the traditional thing and work for an institution or work for somewhere that's going to give us that security and stability, you know, work for the sort of company that's got long term, you know, going to give you that long term security. But I feel like the energy from this is kind of saying it's time to go in a new direction and cultivate the freedom in your life to essentially go in the direction of something that is going to bring you so much more fulfillment. And by going with the flow, you can see this is very water energy, which is not really, that's quite, that can be quite challenging for fire signs to go with the flow, because you're kind of usually in the energy of like, I've got to know, like fire signs tend to be like, I've got to take action on something and I know what it is and I'm going to make it happen. Whereas going with the flow energy is kind of, it's a lot more like surrendering. There's a lot less action, a lot more surrender, and a lot more just like being moved. You know, if you think about water and you look at these fish and how they're just like flowing with the current, it's like if you allow yourself to kind of flow with that current of life, it's going to take you to where you need to go. So you don't need to worry too much about this. Like this person that's quite worried at this crossroads here, but it's like you don't need to worry too much. You will be, if you surrender, you will be moved to where you need to. That is going to bring you the fulfillment, and ultimately actually the security and the money and everything is going to come to you. So, okay, Sagittarius, I know that was a bit of a long, circuitous reading. I hope it resonated for some of you. It sort of brought in lots of different scenarios. So leave a comment in the box below if it did resonate for you. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified when I next upload a reading. And I'll see you in the next one. All my love. Bye.